Let us stop all incoming thoughts. Let us go with our mind deep into our chamber. Let us concentrate on the divine light, who is the embodiment of knowledge and bliss. Let us focus our mind on that light. Let us feel peace at the divine light. Let us pray for the welfare of all beings in the universe. Om Sthapakaya ca dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Sthapakaya ca dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varesthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I offer my salutation to Sri Ramakrishna, who has come to establish the universal religion, who has embodied all world religions, the noblest of divine incarnations. May we pray to the Divine Lord to lead us from unreal to real, lead us from darkness of ignorance to light of knowledge, and to lead us from dreadful death to immortality. Let us be freed from all afflictions and experience immense peace and joy. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Welcome to you all. After summer recess, all our activities have once again resumed. Tuesday class is meant for studying scriptures, particularly dealing with the knowledge of the self. All the problems which we are facing can be easily solved if we take to the reading of Upanishads. if we try to understand the noble teachings contained in them, if we try to put them in practice with all sincerity and devotion and dedication, it should be possible to get rid of all types of miseries which we see in this world. What is the reason for this misery? Let us go to the root. The sages have declared the misery is brought out because of our lack of knowledge about our own self. Misery is caused because of ignorance, what we call ajnana. The fight between good and evil is going on. It will go on. Nobody can stop the fight between good and evil. Whenever there is duality, there is bound to be friction. There is bound to be sorrow and suffering. But then, there is a purpose in everything. Misery has got a great lesson to teach us. It impresses upon our mind that what we see is all trash. What we try to get happiness is simply trash. Whatever the pleasures we seek in this world increase our misery all the more. So how to counteract this? If you want to have real peace, if you want to conquer misery, then renounce without any mercy all types of pleasures. If you want to arrive at the truth, be straightforward to accept the reality in all its totality. We should never compromise the truth. But in practice, we always try to excuse for the things done by us in a wrong way. God is sublime, supreme, benign, most compassionate, ever ready to help the children, to help creation. It's a big sport as it were. All the activities which we see in this world are nothing but sport. But these Upanishads declare that if we have to reach the state of fearlessness, then you must get into the state of non-duality. Really speaking, the Upanishads clarify in unmistakable terms that there is only one reality, there is only one God pervading the whole creation. It is God only who manifests himself in so many forms. to satisfy so many temperaments. Each mind, each temperament has to be satisfied. So all our activities are to be spiritually oriented. We have to be well grounded on our character. We must be noble, pure. Then only we realize the Supreme Being who is the embodiment of purity and perfection. The Upanishad which I am going to deal with is called Amrita Bindu Upanishad. It is one of the minor Upanishads. But then it is so beautiful, so impressive, that though this Upanishad is very small, it has got the greatest spiritual treasure. Amrita Bindu in Sanskrit means a drop of nectar. One drop of nectar is enough to give us everlasting peace and bliss. It is the combination of the loftiness of sentiment with a directness of expression. A drop from the fountain of eternal life itself, potent to cure the manifold ills of samsara. Samsara means worldliness. The Shanti mantra of this Upanishad is all known to you. Still, before beginning this Upanishad, I would like to chant this one. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunoyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaistushtuvagunsastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravāha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedāha Swasti nastarkshyo arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we hear what is auspicious with our ears. How very important it is. From morning to night, what all the things we are hearing. Most unpleasant, disturbing matters. But we should make use of our organ of ear to hear something auspicious, something which elevates our mind. For example, music, bhajan, devotional songs, etc. Not hearing film hits and degenerating the mind. No. It is very easy to get down the mind rather than raising it up. unless we take all preparatory measures, it is very difficult to get control over ourselves. All the organs which we possess have become involuntary. They go on doing things according to their own ways. What about my individual self? Do I have no control over them? I should make them voluntary. If I want, they will work. If I don't want, they will stop. If I want to hear, my ear will hear. If I don't want, I shall not hear. That way we should be able to purify our mind. Whatever we hear, whatever we see, everything is put into the mind, which creates problems afterwards. So we have to be very careful about feeding the mind. Feed always good thoughts. Hear always good things. Always remember the Divine Lord in whatever form you want. So the Divine Supreme is worthy of worship, because anybody can approach Him and anybody can have His holy company. May we see with our eyes what is auspicious. May we enjoy the life allotted to us by the gods in a proper way, not indulging ourselves in excessive worldly activities to the extent of forgetting the Divine Lord. May Indra, the God of heavens, of increasing glory, bestow prosperity on us. May Pushan, the knower of all, bestow prosperity on us. May Tarkshya, of unobstructed path, bestow prosperity on us. May Brihaspati, the preceptor of gods, bestow prosperity on us. What a grand prayer. And it concludes, peace, peace, peace be unto all. We should always pray for the welfare of all the beings in the whole creation. That is the way of improving ourselves. Expand. There is no limit for expansion. In the words of Swami Vivekananda, expansion is life, contraction is death. Selfishness is contraction. Selflessness is life. The man who is selfless is really living the life properly. So expansion is life, contraction is death. So we should feel everyone is a part and parcel of the Divine Being. So we should never harbor any kind of hatred, jealousy, or whatever it is. We should practice it. Then only we become qualified to read and understand the great Upanishadic teachings. You have got some idea about Upanishad. I suppose you have already learnt many of the Upanishads taught by Reverend Bhashyanji Maharaj and other Swamijis here. But then, just to give a brief, I would like to touch upon few points before opening the topic. What is actually Upanishad? Is it meant for all, irrespective of caste, color, creed, whether man or woman? Yes. Upanishads can be read by any being in the creation. It is meant for all. But we must acquire necessary qualification. We must have sufficient preparations to understand Upanishad. Upanishad itself tells what is to be done. Actually, Upanishad means it is combined with 3 syllables. Upa plus ni plus sad. It literally means coming near, sitting close to the teacher. Come close. That means the disciples or the students who want to learn this great teaching should come with great humility, with humbleness, with strong moral character. They should approach the teacher to learn this sacred message of the knowledge of Atman. Secondly, these Upanishads are to be taught in peaceful surroundings, not in bazaar. What does it mean? If my mind is continuously disturbed, even though I am not physically present in bazaar, the bazaar is present in my mind. So, if the mind is continuously in disturbed condition, or if the mind is continuously restless, or if the mind is full of desires, unsatisfied desires, you can't enjoy the teaching of Upanishads. So, peaceful surrounding is very important. We have to create that. And another point, the seeker after knowledge, he must be hankering after the knowledge of Atman. He must be earnest in knowing the reality. There should be predominance in the mind to know the truth. In other words, the mind should not run after the things of the world. When all these factors are taken into consideration, you must have the glimpse of great joy these teachings of Upanishads impart. Acharya Shankara, the great exponent of Advaita philosophy, defines Upanishads as the knowledge of Brahman by which ignorance is destroyed. The treatises that deal with knowledge of Brahman are called the Upanishads. What is the content of the Upanishads? It is Vedanta Vijnanam, the wisdom of Vedanta. In Vedas, there are 2 parts. One is Karma Kanda, the second one is Jnana Kanda. The first one, Karma Kanda, deals with rituals, all types of, various types of worship. If you do a particular type of worship, you will get particular result. All result oriented. If you want to have a good baby, do this ritual. If you want to have a daughter, do this ritual. If you want to have a good husband, do this ritual. For all the things, whatever you want in this world, the rituals are prescribed. If one does them properly, he gets those desires fulfilled. But then it deals only with that. It doesn't lead you towards the realization of the Supreme. It does not release you from the bondage of worldliness. The second one, which is called as Jnana Kanda, that is called the knowledge portion, that is very important. But the rituals also have a purpose. The performance of rites and rituals are all a preparation for the enlightenment. The Upanishads are the revelations of the sages who got illumined in their long meditations. They would deeply think about the inner self, not allowing the mind to go outside at all. So they got this divine realization. Different aspects of the philosophical problem are discussed and solutions given. According to Advaita philosophy of Shankara, it has no gender. That means it is beyond gender. No predication is possible of Brahman, as predication involves duality and Brahman is free from all duality. The world of duality is empirical or phenomenal. The saving truth which redeems the individual from the stream of births and deaths is the recognition of his own identity with the Supreme. That thou art. Beautiful. Tattvamasi. The famous statement of the Upanishad. It is a fundamental fact of all existence. It is just like river joining the ocean. Once the river joins the ocean, at that joining point, what a grand sight it is. I had an occasion to see the confluence of two rivers, great rivers, holy rivers, Ganga and Yamuna, at Prayag in India, Allahabad. Yearly once they do a grand festival there. They offer worship to the holy waters. I just went to the particular spot where Ganga coming from one direction and Yamuna from the other direction. They mingle just at that point. I had the opportunity to go over there and take bath. What I want to tell you is that the sight was so impressive. It was as if both the rivers are as if they are smiling. Beautiful waves coming, just mild waves, because they are joined together, you know. It produced a kind of thrill in my heart. Same way, the individual soul, when he approaches the divine, the Brahman, at the point of merging with Brahman, it's a tremendous experience. gives immense joy. So we should arrive at that. That is what the Upanishads stress. The multiplicity of the universe, the unending stream of life is, we are seeing every day. Is it unreal? It is real, but only as a phenomenon. The Upanishads put emphasis on the search for the reality underlying the flux of things. Tell you is that the sight was so impressive. It was as if both the livers are as if they are smiling. Beautiful waves coming, just mild waves, because they are joined together, It produced a kind of thrill in my heart. Same way, the individual soul, when he approaches the divine, the Brahman, at the point of merging with Brahman, it's a tremendous experience. Gives immense joy. So we should arrive at that. That is what the Upanishads stress. The multiplicity of the universe, the unending stream of life is, we are seeing every day. Is it unreal? It is real, but only as a phenomenon. The Upanishads put emphasis on the search for the reality underlying the flux of things. What is that which, being known, everything else becomes known? In Mundaka Upanishad there is a famous verse, Kasminnu bhagavato vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. What is that? By realizing that, we become highly satisfied. There is nothing for you to desire anymore. You get perfect satisfaction. All your desires come to stop. That's the beauty of attaining that state. In another Upanishad it is said that the gods in heavens found out the truth that it is the power of Brahman which sustains the gods of fire, air, etc. How this energy works? There must be some operator. Energy may be there, but who operates it? It is Brahman. The Upanishads speak to us of the one reality behind and beyond the flux of the world. They stress upon the importance of meditation. It is not from the brooding on the wonder of the outside world, but by meditation on the significance of the self, one arrives at the truth. There is lot of scientific advancement. Every day we are receiving reports of new discoveries. But then, what's the use? There is no end to that. By discovering outside, you will not be able to conquer misery. We have advanced so well in these years, scientifically speaking. But then, are we peaceful? Are we free from worries? No. Because we must explore in some other way. So the sages found out the exploration of the inside. They spell out the path of the inner ascent, the inward journey by which the individual soul gets at the ultimate reality. It means truth is within us, within every one of us, whether we know it or not. In Mundaka Upanishad, it is said, Ishtapurtam manyamana varishtam nanyachreyo vedayante pramudhaha nakasya prishtete sagradenu bhutvemam lokam inataram va vishanti. Some people think of doing sacrifices and charitable works to be the highest. They do not know better than that because of delusion. No doubt, the virtuous deeds bear good results. They get into the highest heavens, the seats of sensual enjoyments, on account of their meritorious deeds, such as great hospitality, feeding of animals and birds, sinking of wells, constructing of water tanks and temples, supplying food to the needy, and so on and so forth. But then, what next? As soon as the merit is exhausted, they cannot overstay in those regions even a moment. They fall into their old human life or into what is lower still. There is an interesting dialogue between Sri Ramakrishna and Shambhu Malik, one of the devotees, a great philanthropist too. He wanted to establish as many hospitals as possible, dispensaries, schools, making roads, digging public reservoirs, activities like that. So he began to tell Ramakrishna about all these things. Sri Ramakrishna, after hearing about them, quietly cautioned him not to overdo things. He should undertake those of pressing necessity and to be done in a spirit of detachment. Otherwise, we become proud. I have done so many things. Who is there superior to me? I am so and so. I need all respect and honor by the people for the works I have done. This way, he may become arrogant. So, Sri Ramakrishna cautioned him, if one is too much entangled in activities, one may forget God. He gave one example. Some devotees came to Kali Ghat to see the shrine. In Calcutta, there is a very famous temple, Kali Ghat, very old temple, older than Dakshineshwar Kali temple. Lots of devotees go there every day to have the blessings of the Divine Mother. On the way, there were many beggars sitting both the ways leading to the temple. Now the devotees, whose main purpose was to see and have the blessings of the Divine Mother, they busied themselves in giving alms to the poor, so much so they could not find time to see the Divine Mother Kali in the sanctum sanctorum. By the time they finished this giving alms to the poor, the shrine door was closed. They had to return without seeing the mother, for which purpose they had come all along. First of all, somehow we should have the darshan of the Divine Mother. Afterwards, we may engage ourselves in giving alms to the poor as we wish. So also, work is good. We must work. But work is only a means to the realization of God. Sri Ramakrishna asked Shambhu, well, suppose God appears before you. Will you ask him to build hospitals and dispensaries for you? A lover of God never says that. He will rather say, O Lord, give me a place at thy lotus feet. Keep me always in thy company. Give me sincere and pure love for thee. That should be our attitude. We can't straighten the world. World will be as it is. Even after 100 years, it will be like this. There is a famous episode in Mahabharata which I would like to tell you. Though persons doing noble deeds get into high regions after passing away in this mortal world, they enjoy in those heavenly regions till their merit exhausted. Then again they have to come back. Now, there was a very good king who looked after his subjects very well. All were very happy and prosperous during his kingship. The name of the king was Nahusha. He was very devoted, sincere, humble, all the noble virtues he had, and nobody was in distress in his kingdom. Even the gods appreciated this person. He even performed many sacrifices that would confer the position of Indra in heaven. Indra, that's a position. The head of the, just like the head of the state, the head of the gods is called as Indra. In course of time, because of his merits, he became the king of gods in the heaven. Of course, in the beginning he was very happy, but then slowly, enjoying great power and respect, slowly he became arrogant and crazy. He indulged freely in the pleasures of heaven and gave himself up to untamed and lecherous thoughts. Instead of meditating on the divine and getting into the state of freedom, he engaged himself in pleasurable activities. Pride and lust deprived him of his senses. One day, he ordered the sages to carry his palanquin to a certain place to spend the pleasurable night there. These sages were not ordinary. They were all illumined saints. They had known the truth. At this sacrilege, the gods were aghast and trembled. Inflamed with thoughts of pleasurable night, Nahusha became thoughtless, became impatient to reach the place as soon as possible. So what he did? He began to goad the bearers of his palanquin to go faster, to move faster. He became so restless, he even kicked one of the rishis by his leg and uttered sarpa sarpa. Sarpa has got dual meaning. Sarpa means to move. Sarpa also means serpent. So the insanity of lust and arrogance had reached its culmination. Nahusha's cup of iniquity was full. The rishi pronounced, "You meanest of the mean, you became the head of the gods because of your meritorious deeds in your previous life in the world. Now because of your arrogance and indulgence in lust and other unlawful activities, your merit has been exhausted. You don't deserve to stay here at all. Do thou fall from heaven and become a sarpa, as you yourself have uttered so many times." So immediately Nahusha, who was the head of the Devatas, lost all his powers, fell headlong down from heaven and became a python in the jungle. Anyway, the point is, by doing good deeds, you will get good reward. But if you do the good deeds without seeking any reward, then it will lead you towards the realization of the Supreme. That's the truth. There is a great stress on the distinction between the ignorant, narrow, selfish way which leads to transitory satisfactions and the way which leads to eternal life. There is a word in Sanskrit called yajna. Yajna is karma, work. It is work done for the improvement of the soul and the good of the world. Atmonnataye jagadhitaya. It is said in Rigveda that the self is the sacrifice and the human soul is the sacrificer. Purusho vai yajnaha atma yajamanaha. That's the meaning. Performance of work, what does it do? It prepares the mind for final release, if it is in the right spirit. Soyam dharma yaduddishya taduddeshena kriyamanaha tadhetuhu ishwararpana buddhya kriyamanastu nishreyasa hetuhu. If you do your activities as offering to the Lord, then it will lead you to the final emancipation. Now another important point I would like to tell you. The Upanishad seers are not bound by caste prejudices, which is so much prevalent nowadays. Throughout the world, people are becoming so mad because of these distinctions. Everywhere ethnic troubles, racial troubles, all sorts of troubles. Troubles are increasing. But the Upanishad sayers, these sages of the Upanishad, they are not bound by caste prejudices, race, creed or sect, but extend the law of spiritual universalism to the utmost bounds of human existence. Whoever may be on this earth is entitled to this spiritual knowledge. It is given to everyone, one and all. There is the story of Satyakama Jabala. In one of the Upanishads it comes. That person, he did not know his father's name, yet he was initiated into spiritual life by the great sage. The Upanishads make the goal clear. It is not a heavenly state of bliss or rebirth in a better world, but freedom from the objective cosmic law of karma and identity with the supreme consciousness and freedom. The heavens become a stage in the individual's growth. In Bhagavata, it is mentioned Sattva Gunodaya, means it's only a stage in the onward growth of the human soul. Heaven and hell are both in the cosmic process. Atraiva narakasvargaha. Wherever there is good, there is evil. Wherever there is light, there is darkness. So both coexist. I think I should conclude now. I shall resume the class next Tuesday. Thank you all.